This is Devaughn coming to you live from campaign headquarters. It's number 3 in our weekly YouTube series, and we just wrapped up our only and first debate on the campaign trails, the Doncaster debate. For those of you who don't know, Doncaster is a senior living community in Bloomfield. We did very well at the debate. The clips will be posted on YouTube in a few days. So that went really well, and as you probably know, the campaign's winding down. We have about, by the time this airs, probably 2 or 3 days left before the election. And I just want to kind of recap on what this experience has been like for me. I've learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about the town of Bloomfield, about the town of Windsor through this process, and it's been very informational. It's been very informative. And one of the things I learned is that a lot of the same players who've been playing on the local stage, are the same people who've been playing for the past 10 and 20 years. And it was shocking to me because a lot of you who I went to Bloomfield School might recall that in 2002 we almost lost our accreditation for our high school. And at the time, we didn't really understand the politics behind it, but this is exactly how it went down. For each year, the Board of Education has a budget. They submit the budget, and it ultimately has to be approved by the town council. So from 1990 to 1999, the town council did not allow any increases for our Board of Education budget over 1%. So I don't know about you, but I don't know too many things over the span of 10 years that don't increase that increased by less than 1%. So because they failed to adequately fund the schools, the annual schedule of maintenance on the schools was not done. So that resulted in, antiquated building, dilapidated services, and I think lower test scores. You can't really be excited about learning. You can't be excited or prepared to learn when you don't have the right tools, and you have raggedy facilities. So, but the shocking part to me was how that ties back into this election. The shocking part to me is those same people who voted to underfund our schools are some of the same people who are still involved and currently sit on town council. So, one of them is one of my opponents. So, you just want to be conscious of some of the people who are running on your local political scene and hold them accountable, get involved, and just really get involved in your local political scene. So, kind of also to recap on, why I entered this race. I entered this race because I thought that the residents of Bloomfield and Windsor finally deserved someone who was going to advocate for their interest and what they wanted. My family I grew up in Bloomfield. I went to Bloomfield Public Schools my whole life, up until the last 2 years, and I thought that I'd be a great representative for the needs and the constituents of Bloomfield. I thought I'd bring energy, aggressiveness, intellect to this position, and that's what I hope to do. So, kind of recap over some of the most pressing issues going on right now. Education is number 1 for me. We have an education cost sharing system, which is how the state allots money to municipalities, to towns, and it's a broken system. There are 40 different equations for calculating how towns get this funding, and it needs to be reformed because it's essentially just a political thing they just add and subtract for, and the formulas are no longer calculated. So we need reform on that level. This year, because of the amount, the decreased amount that Windsor Public Schools received from the state, they had to cut 36 teaching positions. So we don't want to see things like that happen across the state, so we need to get reform on the state level. The other thing is the $1 billion budget deficit we're facing here in Connecticut. And that's a pressing issue because on the chopping block, the governor wants to cut a lot of critical services. She wants to cut the Office of Healthcare Advocacy.